On Monday, the 25th of August, 2025, it's Coffee Time with Peter Gomez on 92.1 on FM, www.wcr.gm online, and later, of course, sections of the program on YouTube. Guest this morning is lawyer Usainu Darboe, Secretary General and leader of the United Democratic Party, which, as we speak, is going through the process of receiving applications for the position of flag bearer. And there's a lot of talk around the process. Let's start there. What's the process of choosing the flag bearer of the UDP?
Well, the process has always been to advertise.
Which you have done.
For any intending applicant, and a deadline is given. We stipulate the requirements of the Constitution, as well as any additional requirements that the party itself may stipulate. But the constitutional requirements are the most important, they are the fundamental ones. Because you do not want to choose or select anyone, and the person is found to be disqualified for any reason that may be stated in the Constitution. So
those constitutional requirements, have they changed over the years?
No, they have not changed at all.
Okay.
For requirements for the presidency, there has not been any amendment. There has not been any amendment to that, except of course, for the age limit.
That has changed?
That has changed. Because
from what to what?
From not more than 65. And then it's left open.
Okay.
You could be 100. if you like to apply,
okay.
You could be 100. Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Do you think that was done purposely with you in mind?
Done? What was done?
Changing from 65 being the age limit.
Peter, it is what my opponents, this is what they say. Yeah. The age was changed because of it. But I say, look, I think if you were to listen again to Madam Tambajan's interview, see, this said that their proposal, what Honorable El Fasala was proposing, was that change the age limit, have the two-term limit, have the 50% plus in the Constitution. So that was thought about when I was in prison. It's not my agenda.
So this is going
it was the coalition's agenda. So I think people who are really peddling this, I don't think they have anything to say.
But the question,
I think they are just being dishonest.
The question here, the age limit question here, relates to the UDP flag bearership, if you like.
No.
Okay, that wasn't changed with you in mind.
No. But the Constitution. The age limit, we have there is no age limit, because you ask if these things had changed over the years. Yes, the Constitution, the constitutional provision.
It used to say what you shouldn't be older than more than 65.
More than 65.
And I'm saying that change, which now leaves it open, was it done with you in mind?
That's what I'm saying. That how could it have been done with me in mind when I was in jail? Those people who are crafting the coalition arrangements thought that...
You're talking about the national constitution. I'm talking about the UDP.
No. I'm talking about the national constitution.
Okay.
I'm talking about the national constitution.
So nothing has changed in the UDP constitution?
No, nothing has changed.
There was never an age limit?
There was never an age limit.
Okay.
There was never an age limit. Only what we say is that you fulfill the constitutional requirements.
Okay.
So if you are caught by age or by any other disqualifications, then of course... then you'll be caught by that. The UDP constitution cannot override the national constitution.
Because the age limit had been removed from the national constitution, so it means now also that that limitation that the UDP also recognized has now also been lifted.
Has been lifted.
Okay.
Has been lifted. Has been lifted not only for Usainu Darboe, but for anybody who wants to contest presidential election. I think last presidential election, probably people contested, we are more than 65 years old. Yeah.
Okay. And how's the application process going?
Well, I have no idea because I do not, I'm not a busybody to try to find out what is happening. That will be remiss of me. It will not be proper. So I will not engage finding out whether there has been any applicant or not. I can only be concerned about my own application.
Okay, which you have submitted, have you?
No, I have not. I have not yet
What
submitted.
are you waiting for?
I have not yet submitted. Well, you see, when I was going through a period of mourning.
Oh.
I lost a very dear cousin who is one of our pillars in the extended family. He is the one who takes care of everything for both the Darboe Kunda and the Sesikunda family in Banza and Darboe. He passed away.
Oh, we're sorry.
And whilst we were attending to his 7-day charity, one of my sisters also passed away in France. Yeah.
So sorry.
And in fact, I returned from the provinces on Saturday to attend to her burial back home. So in that state, I thought, I really don't want to, when I'm grieving, I really don't want to do anything that will attract any public discussions and so forth. Respect for them, and also for my small Ben. We used to call him school Small Ben, Ahmed. His family is involved. At least one of his family.
You're talking about the KMC mayor's father now.
Yes. And I think it will be a little bit insensitive to really those things that will generate a great deal of political discourse, But I can assure you that I'll submit my application before the deadline. All the requirements that they need. In fact, they talk about a proof of that you have gone beyond grade 12. So when I was looking, I said, look, should I present my O-level certificates?
Yeah.
Or my A-level certificates?
A-level.
Or what? Well, I said, well.
A-level would be at least grade 13.
Yeah. I said, well, no. I said, no, but look, let me present my bachelor's and master's degrees in law, That would be even better than my A-level certificates. Yeah. So I'm putting all these things together and presenting it to the selection committee. Yeah.
Earlier on, you made reference to the situation of the country, which necessitates change. How would you explain the situation of the Gambia to a non-Gambian? What's going on in the Gambia right now that is amiss?
Well, what is going on in the Gambia is unbridled, and there's absolutely no attempt to abate it, any serious attempt to abate it, is corruption. It's unbridled, and there's no serious attempt to abate it. Isolated prosecutions here, really, not significant, steps that take to show government seriousness in combating corruption. In one of my appearances here, I did say that the anti-corruption bill was assented to, I think on the 31st or 30th or 31st of January, 2024. And up till now, the commission has not been constituted. Any serious-minded government would, while the bill was being debated in the National Assembly, and that it was going to be passed, any serious-minded government would have started thinking about the individuals that would be nominated to become members of that commission.
I think now they don't nominate; they actually invite applications.
But Peter, would it be out of place for the government to really say, look, Peter, what is his character? What has his interest in national issues? How much does he detest corruption? ML Marong.
That's my good friend, by the way, Mohammed Lamin Marong, aka Kuku, yes.
What type of a person is he? Peter, haven't heard people who have given dedicated services to this country, unblemished. Don't we have them in this country?
Sure, we do.
Why don't you go headhunt and get the right people rather than invite applications? And we know when you invite applications here, people lobby. Those who, of course, I want a position, I lobby. And you might end up selecting people who are not worth the position. So it's not a serious government. It's not a serious attempt to fight corruption in this country. And what I find even more appalling, I think it's Section 8 or so, or 9 of the Anti-Corruption Act says that any allegations of corruption that took place in the Gambia before the coming into force of this act may not be investigated. So you are telling me between 2017 and 2014, all those acts of corruption.
Or 2024, you
to
mean?
2024. All those acts of corruption may not be investigated, although it didn't say shall not be investigated. But of course, if you give discretion and you go and lobby that please do not investigate these particular dealings with XYZ, aren't you really validating corruption between those periods? These people are not serious because they know that if all the things that happened between 2017 and 2024, when the bill was assented to, the Gambian people might probably take to the streets. At least let the government show, some interest in protecting the resources of the. So let them show that look, they have men of integrity that have served and are serving in this government. We cannot. Fighting corruption is not just by word of mouth and two isolated prosecutions. Really, you cannot take that as a measure of fighting corruption. In the face of that particular provision, remove it and then get everybody from 2017. Everybody, I was in government. Get all of us. If you have been involved in any act of corruption, get all of us.
If they came for you, you wouldn't have no problem answering all their questions.
Alhamdulillah. Look, Peter, if I was involved in any untoward matters, they would have gone. They would have been running away with it. They would have been running away with it as they try to run away, as they try to run with the 3-year thing, as they try to run with my age. They would have been doing that. But alhamdulillah.
So corruption top of your list. What else?
Well, if you are really being able to wasteful expenditure. Wasteful expenditure. You see, Peter, in 2027, when we
2017.
2027.
We're in 2025.
Yeah, we are in 2025.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You're looking ahead.
2027.
Okay.
We will be reviewing the Darboe budget that sanctioned waste. Because the 2027 budget, there will be a lot of wasteful expenditures that will be embedded in it.
Okay. You are certain that in 2027,
yes.
2027,
Yes.
you will be president
Of course,
based on the 2026 presidential election results.
Of course, we will look at that budget. We'll look at it very critically, and all those wasteful expenses will be done away with. You see, Peter, when I was vice president, I refused to move into State House. I refused to do it.
You continued living
I
in
continued
your own
living my pipeline and my go-to here.
Yes.
In the way I used to live. No generators.
If Nawek went off,
If Nawek went off, I light candle.
Ah.
I light candle when Nawek goes off. You see,
How did some of your colleagues react? I mean, for instance, even your policeman, they say, boss, you should get a generator.
No, I'll tell you this. One of your regular hosts, guest, I'm sorry, he's probably listening, So he calls me uncle, but I call him brother. Tough.
Alhaji Mustafa Njai.
Alhaji Mustafa Njai. You know, one day at Maghrib time, he came to my house at Kotu. There were no lights. I said, I'm no generator. I said, but I don't have. And he thought that was amazing, that he couldn't believe that. In the position that I was.
Of course.
But why should I enjoy the benefit of a generator when one of my supporters in London Corner is in darkness?
You're talking about me.
Yeah, you know, my brother and some of my supporters in Bundung, in London Corner, you know, they're in darkness. Why should that happen? You should live the same standard with the people you want to represent, with the people you want to serve. You shouldn't be put in a situation of luxury while those who really put you in that position are really suffering. So I refuse to go to State House. I refuse to have a gardener. I have gardener, but I pay from my... And Auntie Sally is one of the best gardeners. Yeah? I pay my own gardeners, both for pipeline and for Kotu. Maids, there's provision for maid. The house help. There's provision for it in the budget. I refuse to use it. Continue to pay my maids or my wife's maids from my salary. Because I think I was earning enough that I could pay. When I was in private practice, I was paying them. And I always factor one thing, that look, as vice president, all these advantages, all these privileges that are given to me, when I leave the office of vice president, will I still continue to enjoy those privileges? And my answer has always been no. So if you cannot continue, or you will not continue to enjoy those privileges, why don't you just live the way you were living before you went to the vice presidency? So we start cutting waste. There will be no utility vehicles for any minister.
Just one official vehicle,
just one official vehicle. You know, see, for instance, you know, if I were to appoint Peter as Minister of Information, Peter already has a car which his wife can use if he wants to attend to any family matters. Peter has a car. After working hours, he can use his car. If he wants to go to Bundung to go and play Scrabble there, you know, let him use his personal car, fuel it. We will make sure that all those things are put in place so that those wasteful expenditures on fuel and the Ahmad Sane vehicle policy will implement it. And that will probably have to be after the National Assembly elections, because you want to have a friendly parliament that really supports you with the necessary legislative actions to actualize these desires.
You think you'll also win the National Assembly election?
Alhamdulillah, inshallah, we will. So, wasteful expenditure certainly will do. And we'll look at restructuring, really restructuring the institutions. We want to see the embassies. There would, of course, be some missions. From my experience as foreign minister, there would, of course, be 1 or 2 missions that need to be strengthened. And some of the missions need to be downsized from ambassadorial level to Saudi Affair level. We'll have to do that, and probably even have to close 1 or 2 other embassies.
Couldn't you have started that work while you were Foreign Affairs Minister?
No, because there has been more. If you look at the budget, this year's budget, you see embassy in Japan, embassy in Germany, and all those places.
But those are strong partners.
They are strong. I agree that they are strong partners. Yeah. But you have to be fiscally present. in the country. That is why I say, look, there will be some embassies that need to be strengthened in terms of personnel, so that these strong partners, you can deal with them efficiently and properly. And of course, it will not be diplomatic postings, or not only diplomatic, but employment in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs will not be done to to tell you that thank you for the good job you have done for me in campaign in URR, so you come and have this position. No.
It won't be job for the boys.
Job for the boys, no. I mean, you can't really get things for the boys without really putting them in positions where they do not fit. And one thing I know that's going to happen is that there will be no governors. We'll make sure that we'll try to work on having the civil service as it was before 1994, to have a neutral public service. You cannot start having people appointed to positions who serve as propaganda agents for your party. We'll not have that.
Maybe you'll change their designation from governor, but we always had commissioners in those days.
Yes, but that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
They won't be called governors anymore.
Because governor has some political
connotations.
Has political connotation.
Okay.
I mean, look, when you had people like John Darboe, of blessed memory, my big brother, as commissioners, when you had people like Ted Sau as commissioners, and when you had these people, caliber of people, in the civil service, the Gambian civil service was then the envy of governments in West Africa. Why would you have somebody, I believe like former VP, Bakar Darboe, being advisor to one of the government in Central Africa on civil service matters? Why would you have Larry Sise? It is because that they grew up in an environment that encouraged neutrality of the civil service, and they garnered experience, and they have the character and commitment. And that is why our civil service was what it was. When you think of people like Francis Moj as Secretary General, of course the old man Eric Christensen, when I was a young civil servant. Gambian civil service then, the middle cadre, those who in the middle, were people like Morke Bajani, Malik John. They were the people in the middle cadre. And those at the top were Francis Moj and the rest. And that was when the Gambian civil service was a civil service. And that is what we want to bring back. Let them call us restaurants, that we are people who want to restore. And we want to restore the good things of the past and do away with the bad things of the past and the present.
But good things have been said of the Ministry of Public Service. They weeded out over 2,000 ghost workers. They have now brought in a clock-in system that will force, those people who either went to work late or were habitual absentees to now be turning up for work, not just turning up, but turning up for work at the right time.
Yes. Well, I think that is an issue of discipline. It is not an issue of reading the civil service of politicians.
Okay.
It doesn't get rid of the civil of the politicians in the public service.
The public service is too politicized as far as you're concerned.
It is. I mean, if the president could go and say, when you go to an office and as a civil servant, what party he belongs to, and he tells you that I'm neutral, then you are opposition.
Oh.
Of course, he did say that. If you could have that, Peter, what would you expect? I mean, I have a great deal of respect for Babakar Boy,
the Minister of Public Service.
Minister of Public Service, at one time, and I did say that, he was in fact, I didn't know him. I couldn't tell physically who he was. I didn't know him.
We were neighbors for many, many years.
Okay, but then, I was following. As an opposition leader, I follow the activities of these public servants, particularly permanent secretaries. I followed the activity, and I found that he was one of those who really raised Gambia's flag. If the World Bank could really recognize him, recognize his office, recognize his commitment, I thought that he could be a person that could serve in the cabinet, and I was touting for him to be part of the cabinet in which I was serving. But my wishes did not materialize, but it has not materialized, and I'm happy for him. I'm happy for him. If he is left to do the job as he should, he would be among the best ministers in this country. But of course, sometimes the politicians there, they would be looking at about 2026. Am I going to gain votes by this particular decision? Am I going to lose votes? Lose votes and put the country on the right footing. I think that's the right thing to do.
So corruption, wasteful spending, you will remove the position of governors. A lot of people would say that the biggest challenge perhaps the country faces today is tribalism and how it is driving not just a wedge, but wedges, deeper into the different ethnic groups. There was even an NCCE statement this morning calling on politicians especially, to clean up their act, if you like. I mean, tone down the rhetoric, if not remove the issue of tribalism completely from, the discourse, the political discourse.
Well, Peter, if politicians, not only politicians, but every Gambian, if we pay attention to 2 lines in our national anthem, which says, "And join our diverse people to prove man's brotherhood." If we do pay attention to that and we commit ourselves to that, there will be no issue of tribalism. But unfortunately, it seems to be taking center stage and in our politics, and it's really not doing good for us. A society that we should make it our duty to get united. We should not be the agents of polarization. And I think one of your guests here, Larry, the call he made that there is need for national dialogue on this issue. I don't think you could have a better time for it than now. We shouldn't get into 2026 without really convening that national dialogue. And I think the responsibility is on the president.
Okay.
I cannot call on for a national dialogue. I say, but who is he? He wants to go and sell a UDP agenda. But the president, as president of the
So
government,
everything you do, people will associate with you selling the UDP agenda.
Of course. But the president, think he should really give some serious thought to this. And I don't think it will be out of place if he invites Larry, who proposes, to say, look, I heard you say this on coffee time. Can you give us a concept? It doesn't hurt. And it doesn't diminish your status as president. And it does not diminish your control of the government. It only enriches your ability, enhances it. Because listening to different opinions, I think that is what it does.
And what if you took the initiative to call him and suggest this directly to him, especially in the wake of what of his advisors was just, caught saying?
Well, yes, it's unfortunate. And I think when his advisor made that explosive statement, that statement that, in fact, could lead to some instability, some unrest, I thought that he would can use that, even use that occasion to address the nation and say, we should not be thinking on tribal lines. And, you don't go on list offices and say this is occupied by a particular tribe. It's wrong. He should just not only condemn it, but he should also address the nation on the need for people to refrain from that type of rhetoric, toxic rhetoric. And if I were president, I would also remove him as advisor.
He's apologized. Maybe that's his saving grace.
But look, has the damage been? Does that cure the damage? Does that cure the damage? Does that move that ugly paint on the president himself? It doesn't. And it was half-hearted apology. But for the president really to show that, look, maybe you might have apologized, but I'm not having anything of this sort in my government. The position you occupy is so sensitive, is so responsible. A political advisor to me, making such statements, you are really working against me because you are projecting me as being tribalist. Go away. I'll get somebody else who will do the job for me and not present me as a tribalist and will only go on to project me as someone who is unifying this country, who is interested in unifying this country. That is what I will do. And I want to take this opportunity to ask President Barrow to really come on and address the nation. Because you just don't have to look for, specific, like the State of the Nation's address and deal with. No. As they occur, it should be daily or constantly in engagement with the nation. When troubling issues come up, we should not just keep quiet about them. Come out and talk to the people about it because they want to hear you as the president of the country. Yeah? That's, I think I'm urging him to do so. And it is discretion to continue to maintain this gentleman as his political advisor. It is discretion to maintain that. Of course, we also have a right to interpret that retention in a way that will be very convincing to the Gambian people.
So you'd be happy to see Sehun Barrow released?
Well, of course,
rather relieved of his advisory position.
Of course, if you can go on a platform and try to make A, B, C, D, E, F, G, they are all fullers. You shouldn't be afraid. I mean, you are really telling those people, look, behave in any way that you want. Because we are there to protect you. That is abominable. So really, if I were the president, I would relieve him of his position. And if he doesn't, we will interpret his reluctance or his unwillingness to relieve him. We will interpret it in a very convincing way. That in fact, he's not doing anything because he approves of what Sehun Barrow has done. And he probably told him, look, just go and apologize. Gambia, you say it in 2-3 days later, people will forget it. But this one, I don't think we are going to forget this.
You said if you said everything you had to say about corruption, people might, descend onto the streets again and demonstrate against corruption. We have had demonstrations recently. Everything not going well. There was a demonstration against corruption. Recently there was a demonstration against data pricing in this country, particularly with, reference to this recent one. What's your position on what happened between the police and the protesters who came to assemble in front of Pura headquarters?
Yeah. Well, let me first say, what I say, look, if they allow investigations of allegations of corruption between 2017 and the date that the Anti-Corruption Act came into force, if they allow investigation into that, people will probably go out and lynch them. You know.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. I was waiting to that.
Okay.
Not that there was, But then specifically on this, let me say that the maturity of our law enforcement agencies have been put to test. I say, if I'm not sure whether they had permit or they didn't have permit. If they didn't have permit, well, the law is clear on that.
Well, the police say they had no permit.
Well, okay, the law is clear on that. Mm-hmm. But if they do not have any permit, what should you do? I think before you arrest anybody, you should read the proclamation to those assembled. Read it to them 3 times and ask them to disperse. If they do not, then you could go on to arrest. And if they are resisting arrest, forcefully, doing things, then you are entitled to use reasonable force to effect the arrest. But what I have seen, the footage of what I've seen, is that this officer just came and said, look, disperse, arrest them. I don't think that is in accordance with the law. He should have read the proclamation to them. And if they did not, then he would say, you are arrested. I saw a particular gentleman in white T-shirt, the way, Peter, he's no bigger than you. About 3-4 officers handling him. The way, some put his back at the back. He wasn't resisting arrest. So I'm saying that it is the maturity of our law enforcement agents. When a man doesn't resist arrest, do you have to use force on him? You don't have to. But force was, killer Ace. I saw the way he was being taken, He didn't resist arrest. So take him gently, put him in your waiting vehicle. But you don't have to malhandle him. I at least saw 3 or 4 people that way. The gentleman in the red T-shirt who was running away when he was apprehended, the way he was dealt with was a little bit unacceptable. They have a right to arrest anybody who has violated the law, but do it in accordance with the law. If a person resists arrest, you can use reasonable force. But when there's no resistance, you don't have to use any force. And this is what has been done to some of the arrestees.